obsessed with his collections.
Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be part 2 of my entire Italian collection from 88 films, spine numbers 6 to 10. Now, if you haven't seen part 1 of these videos, I'll leave a link to it down below. And what I will say is something I forgot to talk about on my last video is when I was looking through these spines 1 to 5, and I really enjoyed looking through them, I thought there's one title on here that I really wanted to watch again. Like as soon as I finished the video, I could have watched it. Now, what I'm going to do on the videos from now on, I'm going to do the same with 6 to 10. I'm going to hold them up and I'm going to say, which one do you think out of these ones is the one that I wanted to watch as soon as I finish making this video? And I'll tell you on this one, if you want to guess, I'll give you a couple of seconds to have your answer ready. So which one out of these ones do you think that I would want to watch the first? If I could just pick one out of here and say, right, this is the first one I want to see after talking about them, which one do you think it was? And do you think you're going to be right? Here's a couple of seconds for you. Which one of these ones do you think that I would like to go immediately now or after that video that I made and watch first? And it would have been, are you going to be right? Blast Fighter. When I was doing it, I just thought, I really want to see this film again. I mean, I have watched it a couple of times, but I haven't watched it for a long time. Some of these I haven't watched a couple of times. I could watch any of these ones. I'm not saying I couldn't. But that one was the one that really stood out to me when I was talking about it, say, I really want to see that one. So again, at the end of this video, I'll do the same with spine number 6 to 10 and see if you guess right. First up is spine number 6, 1983's A Blade in the Dark, directed by Lamberto Bava. This is a latter-day giallo, and it's really good. There is a 4K upgrade, which I'll talk about in a minute. This film deals with this guy who is somebody who is writing the soundtracks for horror films. And what he does is he goes to his retreat and he wants to write some more music, and that's what he does. But in the meantime, there is this sort of crazy killer lurking around. And he is trying to write the score of this movie all the way through this kind of chaos that's building up. I do think this is a really good giallo. I think the latter day giallos, they do suffer from the fact that what's went before is much better. I think they were getting watered down by this point and they were tailing off actually in public consciousness. They weren't really something that people went for. It does co-star Michelle Soavi, who directed Stage Fright in the Church, who's also in Demons, and also 2 actresses from Zombie Flesh Eaters and the Beyond. So it's got a lot of things going for it. I mean, Lamberto Bava is a hell of a director. And I do find this to be quite a good like thriller, and it does keep you guessing as to who the killer is, which is the best thing about giallo. You know there's a twist to it, and you want to know what that twist is going to be. I think the longer version of this was made for TV, and then it was kind of, maybe there was not that much gore in it, so I think they made the film version, they cut it down slightly, and I think that added gore to the film version. I think, but you've got the 2 options on here. So that's another giallo added to this line. I was really pleased to see this one coming out. This was a well-known title. Some of the ones before that, and I didn't mind that, were ones you'd never heard of before. And it's great to see a mixture of ones you never heard before, and also these ones that you kind of think, oh, this is an amazing one to have in their Italian collection. And in 2024, there was an upgraded 4K came out of A Blade in the Dark, and it looks, for me, it looks sensational. There is quite a lot of grain in there, which I don't mind, because if you don't have the grain, you don't have the sharpness. This is a welcome upgrade. It does put right, if there was any audio issues, it does put that right on this release. I didn't know this would ever get re-released because of the fact that it was out of print. Now, speaking about out of print, all of these 5 are going to talk about are out of print on 88's website, as the first 5 are. So you can say the first 10 of this collection are out of print. Now, do you want to go down the route of picking up the old Blu-ray? If you're a completist, well, fair enough. But if you're not, you might want to just go straight for the 4K, and then you've just covered all your avenues, really. You're not going to go back and try and get something that's out of print. You might not get it might not have to pay that much money, but sometimes you've got to pay quite a lot of money. And to be honest, if you've got a 4K upgrade, you're much better off going for the 4K upgrade. And another thing is, if you do see a film in here, in this line that's out of print, and you think, I'd really like to get that, sort of just weigh up the pros and cons, because there might be a 4K coming out in that, because it does show you if they release A Blade in the Dark, that they have got plans to probably release ones that you wouldn't previously think would ever get released. But a solid giallo, a great entry, even though it's a latter day giallo, it keeps you guessing. And I would say the 4K picture quality is a welcome upgrade. It's not the best of 4Ks, but it's solid compared to the previous Blu-ray. So that's spine number 6, 1983's The Blade in the Dark. Next up is spine number 7, 1980's Anthropophagus the Beast, directed by Joe D'Amato. There's a lot to talk about on this release. This was the first one out here. It does have an exclusive bonus on here, which is 40 Street Memories, The Rise and Fall of America's Most Notorious Block. I've talked about this before. This is a cracking documentary, feature length, but it's only available on this one. The other two that I've got here, it's not available on, so bear that in mind. If you wanted to pick this up, you will get that exclusive, really good documentary. But this film here has got to be, as you know, it's one of my favourites in this whole collection. When this was coming out, I thought, I can't believe it. I really am so excited for this. Now, this film has always looked dodgy. And by dodgy, I mean it's just got that look that it looks as if it hasn't been remastered properly, or it's always looked lesser than any of the other nasties. When I put them together, some of the nasties look absolutely great on recent Blu-rays, but this one would always look a bit dodgy. More about that in a minute. This is one of my favorite films of all time. I don't know why. It's very slow. It's got not that much go in it. There's quite a bit towards the end, and there's obviously one bit that it got banned for. It's a Section 1 banned video nasty. You would think, watching most of it, you would think, well, what on earth has this got banned for? But when you see the end scene, you know exactly what it is. It's not, but it is pretty graphic, and what it pertains to is something that's like absolutely horrendous. But that's what they did back in the day. They did do shock value, but I really like this film. I don't know why. I think the setting's great. I think the actress, I think all the actors, you see them in plenty of other things as you do in most of these Italian films. But for some reason, in my estimation, this is just a cracking film. I really, really enjoy it. And when this came out, I thought, that's great. Nice Blu-ray. It's not the best of Blu-rays, but it's never been the best of films. I don't know where it's been preserved, if anywhere. Now, weirdly enough, after this got released, a couple of years later, this one came out, which was a 2K scan, a remaster of it, and I was all for it. This looks a lot better than the previous Blu-ray, and I thought this is going to be the way I'm going to obviously check this film out. I am going to keep this. I'm going to keep everything in this collection, obviously, and it's a great set with improved picture quality, so Anthro would never look so good. However, last year, this came out. This is the zenith of this title. It is absolutely incredible. Now, when I say that, you might think when you look at it, if you were judging it from your modern day 4K standards, you would say it doesn't look that good. But you've got to think of it for Anthro, does it look good? And it looks absolutely sensational. It was such a welcome addition to have. And the fact that they put it in this amazing case, it just shows you that this film should not be ignored. And a lot of people say it's one of the most boring video nasties you could ever see, and I don't agree with that at all. When I went into this, I was told that, and I thought, all right, I'll give it a shot. You know, it is what it is. Every time I watched this, I enjoyed it that much more, even though, and that's not usually for me. Sometimes you watch a film that much and you just think, oh, can we bother with that for a while? But this one is the gift that keeps on giving. And the fact that this is now in the spectacular hard box is just all the better. I would have never thought this would have come out in 4K. I'm so glad it did, and I think it's more than a worthy entry into the 4K Italian collection. So at number 6, that's Anthropophagus, the Beast. Next up is spine number 8 from 1977. It is Hitch-hike, directed by Pasquale Festa Campanile. This stars the always brilliant Franco Nero and Corinne Clery, and the late great David Hess from Last House on the Left. He is absolutely sensational in this. Now, if you want to get a bad guy and you want someone who's a real piece of work, just get David Hess. Now, in real life, David Hess was not like this. So this film is quite easy to explain. Basically, David Hess is a hitchhiker. He gets in the car, and from then on, he is just an absolute psychopath. He has Franco Nero and obviously Corinne Clery, who was in Moonraker, actually, is like a Bond girl. He has them, you know, just absolutely plagued to death with his wants and his wishes and all that. You know, you can imagine what goes on. And it's all got to do with the fact. Now, you might think, is that just the film? There's more to it than that, believe you me. Now, I had watched this before and I really enjoyed it, but I thought it was much better when I watched it as a Blu-ray. The Blu-ray actually is absolutely stunning. I do think they could get a 4K out of this. Now, going back to the fact that this is long out of print, I think it's been long out of print for a long time, not just recently. This is one that if they can get all the other ones that have been out of print out, and I thought they would never ever been able to do that. If they could get out Hitch-hike, which looks great on Blu-ray, this would look stunning on 4K. It's one of those ones where you think it wouldn't look that good when you think about what it is, the premise of the movie and what's actually happening in it. You think, oh, I bet it's really ropey. Far from it. There's not that much extras on here, but it's really worth a watch. So the casting here is brilliant. It's quite a clever film with a few twists and turns in it. And David Hess is, as always, is absolutely insane. So that's spy number 7. That's Hitch-hike. Spy number 9 is 1988's Zombie Flesh Eaters 2 or Zombie 3, directed by Lucio Fulci. I'll leave a link down below to a video I did, which was absolutely incredibly hard to do. And it tells about the fact of why this is called Zombie Flesh Eaters 2 and also Zombie 3. It's insane, that whole thing. You'll find that when you look at that video. Anyway, this has always been considered to be one of Lucio Fulci's later films, and by later I mean when he gets to the point where he can't really direct too much. I know he didn't direct this full movie, and I think he was helped by somebody else. Now, this has always been, I was led to believe that this is one of the worst zombie films you will ever see in your life. Now, my favourite zombie film, or my favourite horror film of all time, is Zombie, or Zombie Flesh Eaters. This is Zombie Flesh Eaters 2. And you could say it's a direct sequel, but it's got nothing to do with Zombie. Now, Zombie is just, for me, spectacular. This one isn't as good as Zombie, obviously, but I thought this was a right good movie and a right good laugh. That's the best thing about it. You can just really you can't believe what's happening in this. The ending as well is one of the best, worst endings you will ever see in your life. And for that, it's worth seeing this film. But I think this film is really good. It's really different. The zombies in here just really run and attack people and pick things up and go after people with knives and all that, which is different, very different to most zombie films, especially Zombie, the first film. It's nothing like that. So the difference between this one and the other release is that this one has an extra disc in, and it's called Power, Lucio Fulci Remembered. So if you want to get that one, try and look for this one that has that extra feature on there. And unfortunately, it has this sticker on. Now, this is like a soft touch here. Lovely slipcover. There's no way I'm going to take that off, because if I take that off, it would absolutely ruin the slipcover. So it is what it is. It'll have to stop on. But this is such a welcome addition. I like the fact that these two ones out there, and you do get this artwork. You do get the Zombie 3 original title. And like I say, to explain that, you'll have to look at that video. It's mind-boggling the way that these things came out. But really excited to have this one. Now this, if I was to get this and put this over here as a slipcover here, it just would stand out like a sore thumb. So I'll keep these ones, these extra ones that I've got, as well as Anthro. Got this one. They're kind of like doubled, but they're there for a reason, because they've got like improved picture quality, or they've got an extra disc in here. I'll keep them over here towards the end of the collection. But for me, in my opinion, this is a cracking zombie film. Yes, it is preposterous and ludicrous, and it's got the most ridiculous ending ever, but there's something about it I just really like. So that's spy number 9. That's Zombie Flesh Eaters 2 or Zombie 3. And last up on this video is spy number 10 from 1976. It is SS Experiment Camp, directed by Sergio Garrone. Now, this is a Section 1 banned video nasty. This is fully uncut. This is another one when it came out. I thought these Nazi exploitation films, I thought there's no way any of these are going to come out. Some of them haven't come out, but this one was really frowned upon. Obviously, the cover on it was a really, one of the ones that got it. Obviously, the title as well. It was just everything about it. Just, I would imagine, they just walk past it in the shelf and says, right, that's going to go immediately. You can just imagine it, can't you? The story of this is absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's so funny. I couldn't believe that the story would add, these follow a certain way. People go into these camps to get sort of tortured. The next thing you know, they're trying to getting out of the camp, they turn the thing around and they're getting back at the commandants who have like kept them like hostage. That's the obvious trait that goes on with this one. This one is slightly different. I've talked about this one quite a few times, but this commander, the best thing about this is this commander, he has been injured in war. and he's lost two of his most vital possessions. So what he does is he sets up this camp where he gets all of these people. He gets the women, and he uses them as like kind of experiments, and he will set these soldiers in with them, and he will watch who is the best one performing with these women. Got to be very careful about this one. And he then finds out that this bloke, this fella, is the most, how can I put it, the best at what he's doing. So he says, right, I will get those two objects which I want, get off him, and I'll get them transplanted onto me, which he does. This is not really spoiling it too much. It's kind of, I'm really telling you the plot of it, which I don't usually do. But if you know this, it still won't put you off this film. It's so funny. So obviously, and then when this bloke finds out that he's got some of his possessions, he goes looking for this fella to get him back for the fact that he's done that to him. I mean, I could have never come up with a plot like that. If someone said to me what this plot would be, that'd be the last thing I would have come up with. But I find it so good. I find it so funny. It's over the top. It's not anything. It's not shocking. Well, it is a bit shocking, but it's not that shocking in the scheme of things. You could put this off as a bit like a comedy. I mean, it sounds daft saying that of what I just said, but it's done in a way that you can't really, you've got to start laughing at it. And I will tell you, the print on this is absolutely gorgeous. Now, another thing, would this come out in 4K? I can't imagine that this would come out in 4K because of it's not one of the better known ones. And obviously it's one of the ones it's there. I'm glad it's there, but it's not one you would think would get a really good 4K version. But you never say never with this lot. You just don't know. And that's the best thing about it. When you're thinking about a 4K up and coming, anyone with these ones could be up for the 4K journey. So strangely enough, even though I'm not the biggest fan of this type of genre, I do think this is a really good watch. And to be honest, it's one of the best ones out there in this form of Nazi exploitation films. So spy number 10, that's SS Experiment Camp. So after talking about these on the back of that, which is the one that you think I would like to watch first if I could go and watch one now? I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about it, or a couple of seconds to think about minutes. But another solid bunch and mixed as well. You've got a Nazi exploitation film. You've got this one which like sort of like a Last House on the Left type vibe to it. You've got a giallo. You've got this strange sort of beast that goes around killing people in a strange, far off Greek country. And also you've got a zombie film as well. So, and some classic titles there, some ones that when they were announced, I thought, brilliant, can't wait to get a hold of them. Because some of them were languishing in the depths of like, you couldn't see these ones at all. Right, so the one I would like to watch, if I could go and watch one now, will be, I should put a drum roll on there, shouldn't I? Will be Zombie Flesh Eaters 2 or Zombie 3, because it's just such a good laugh. And I'm thinking about that ending, and I can't wait to see it again, just for that ending predominantly. Okay, so thanks for watching. You take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.
Obsessed with his collections. Nights, hill sway, movie stacked, vinyl neat, Kraftwerk beats on repeat. Shelves heavy, filled with dreams, synths and scenes, it gleams. In the dark, he's alive. Frequencies, they thrive. Electric minds, spinning time. Neon glow in the night, feels right. He'll show you sound, turn it around. Lost in the groove of his life. John Perry in the dark. 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 He'll show you sound, turn it around. Lost in the groove of his life. John Perry in the dark. John Perry in the dark. Dark, 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 dark. In his room, hours fly. Synthesizers by his side. Old films play, screens aglow. Celluloid dreams in stereo. From sci-fi tales to noir nights.